Welcome to the Cigar Clock Show from the Hideout Cigar Shop here in Aston, Pennsylvania. Your host, John Marshall. Well, today we're going to be talking about a special cigar from Micallef. It's the Micallef Leyenda Generation No. 1. And we're going to talk about how this company, Micallef, came about, a little bit of its heritage, and a lot about this particular type of cigar. So we'll get to that when we come back. We'll see you in just a minute. Okay, welcome back to the Cigar Clock Show. We're going to talk about the Micallef Leyenda First Generation Cigar. But first, we're going to talk about a little bit of the background of Micallef cigars. Micallef cigars actually started as the Gomez-Sanchez family in 1934. And then it grew within the family to 3 generations, including Joel and Pedro Sanchez Gomez, and Migdalia. Migdalia is the mother of Adele and Joel. They've been growing tobacco in Valle de San Andres in Mexico for a number of years. And how Micallef came about is a very well-to-do man in Texas by the name of Al Micallef contacted the Gomez-Sanchez family and asked them to make a cigar specifically for himself. And they did, and he was so pleased by this line of cigars that he got together with the family, basically invested, bought into the family, and created Micallef cigars. Hideout Cigars is an authorized dealer for Micallef as well, just a little note there. And that's a little bit of the background on Micallef and how the name came about and how they got together and put 2 and 2 together and made fantastic cigars. The cigar I'm talking about today, the Gomez-Sanchez family, first generation, 1934, Micallef Leyenda No. 1. Yeah, that's a mouthful, but this is a fabulous cigar. It is an elongated figurado type size. It's got a long taper at the top. It's not your typical figurado. The reason for that is the way that these cigars basically are finished. They're not put in presses, they're not put in little coffins, they're not put in boxes. What they do with this cigar to give it its size and shape is they take wet newspaper and they roll the cigar into wet newspaper and they twist the end till it's tight. And as the newspaper dries, it forms the tapered end of the cigar. And this is an old school style of shaping your cigars, and they still do that today. So this basically is a true Cuban classic blend, originally by Don Pedro F. Gomez back in 1934. This was his original cigar. It is a 7.5 by 54 figurado, like I said. The wrapper is a 5-year Ecuadorian Habano. The binder is a 5-year-old Nicaraguan leaf, and the fillers are all 5-year Nicaraguan, Dominican, and Honduran leaves to give this cigar an absolute wonderful blend. When I take the wrapper off, we get a little bit of a sweet hay smell there. Yeah, a little peppery smell too. But that's good. That's very nice. It's very nice at the foot. So we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to cut it, we're going to light it, and we're going to talk about the first third. Be back in a few. Okay, I used a V cutter to cut my figurado, and we got it toasted up and lighted, and it's very flavorful right from the first draw. I am getting pepper, a creaminess, a fruity flavor, right off the first draw from the light. As we go along here, it's a great start. It's a nice little combination of sweet and spicy all at the same time. Really get your palate going on that. So we'll get further into the first third here as we go along. Starting to pick up a little bit of a coffee note, a little spiciness, like I said, a little buttery flavor too, which is kind of unique, like buttery, creamy, smooth as well. And so that's what I'm getting in the first third. So we're going to give this a little bit of a time, and when we come right back, we'll get into the second third of the cigar. Be right back with you. Okay, we're now into the second third of the cigar, and it is burning razor sharp. It has a medium gray ash. I have not had to touch the cigar up yet at all. It is razor sharp edge on it, burning perfect. I'm now picking up cedar spice and oak, along with that creamy, peppery, fruity flavor that I got originally on the light. And still a little bit of coffee in there. Very light on the finish. Very light on the finish. Fabulous blend so far. A lot of different flavors. Seems very complex right now. And again, we're getting that nice cedar spice. Even a little oaky flavor, like a woody oaky flavor. A little bit of spiciness. And just a hint of coffee, creamy coffee on the finish. So we'll get into the final third when we come back. So just stand by. We'll get to the final third, and then we'll finish this cigar off, and I'll tell you what I think about that. So stand by. This cigar is absolutely amazing. We're into the final third right now, and it has really amped up the flavors. I'm getting espresso, leather, the spices picked back up, that peppery, cedary spice. It's still creamy though, and has that nice coffee espresso flavor, spice in the back of the throat, on the tip of the tongue, along with that leather and earthy flavors. This is an absolutely amazing cigar. Very complex. Very, very complex. Made, like I said, by Pedro F. Gomez originally in 1934. His grandchildren and children have carried that on and are now making it part of the Micallef line. This is an excellent cigar. I give this out of 5 stars. I give this 5+ stars. It's an absolute wonderful cigar. You have to try. Again, razor sharp burn all the way through, medium gray ash. The ash holds for about an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half, somewhere in there. So it holds a great ash. It is an absolute pleasure to smoke. In this time period, it has taken me about an hour and 10 minutes to smoke this cigar, and it has been an absolute pleasure. I highly recommend it. Again, it's the Gomez Sanchez first generation 1934 Leyenda by Micallef. Micallef cigars in general are just a fabulous line of cigars, from their special generation number 1, number 2, their Experiencia, their Herencia, the Migdalia, which was made by the daughter, and of course all their Grand Bold lines are absolutely phenomenal. But this cigar in particular is one of my favorites. It's just such a wide flavor profile. I mean, if we go back to the beginning, you had that buttery, spicy coffee thing going on. When you first lit it, you had pepper, creamy fruitiness, and then it worked its way into the second with the cedar and the oak and a little bit of spice, and then finished with leather, the spice really picked up, and the espresso flavor and the creaminess on the finish. Again, outstanding cigar. So you can get these right here again at the Hideout Cigar Shop in Aston, PA, 3344 Market Street, Aston, PA, right in the middle of the car wash, or the wash as they like to call it around here. The Hideout is an authorized Micallef dealer, and their manager, who's me, John, is a Micallef cigar ambassador as well. But I never let that bias my opinion of a cigar. If I don't like it, I'll tell you I don't like it. But this is an absolute fabulous cigar. So I hope you enjoyed our show today. When you get a chance, stop by and check out the Hideout. And remember, it's always cigar o'clock.